No matter what series hosts the Watkins Glen International circuit, well, it doesn't disappoint. Sports cars, open wheel machinery, and tonight with the virtual NASCAR Xfinity Series machines, I'm sure we're going to see yet another great race from upstate New York. Over 25 drivers have registered for tonight's event, all getting prepared for the Chance 3 Design Shop at the Glen. With 7 minutes remaining indeed in practice, people are still lining up. After a fantastic showing at Daytona, a surprise winner breaking the drought, it was Travis McQuistion who came home on top. We're due to see yet another driver chase that checkered flag. Whether or not we find ourselves with a new winner, we will know at the end of 40 laps tonight, as we still have quite a lot of racing just ahead of us. Great to have you all live on FTN yet again on this Monday night, the second race of the season. I'm your host for tonight's broadcast, David Kreutz, and before I head to the real Watkins Glen in just a few days, great to get accustomed to it yet again here in the virtual setting. Road courses in the Ignite Series have been fantastic, and drivers, while still preparing, are already putting up some very fast times. We're looking at Justin Morton right now, second fastest on the board in the number 9 machine, only second to Rob Ackley right now. And for Ackley, that number 22 machine, a rocket ship. He won Daytona last season, did not get it done this time around, so why not rebound on the second race if you couldn't win the first? That's the mentality right now for the number 22, as he still is the fastest man on the board, just ahead of Justin Morton. And now it looks like Thomas Bressi shoots up into third. And a total of now just about 30 drivers have registered, almost matching the total we had last week. And with 5 minutes remaining before qualifying, that can still change. 28 drivers have taken times going back to Boomer Logan. Looks like Donald Turner, a fan of the number 94. Great to have you here. Hope you enjoyed tonight's presentation. Logan, one of the many drivers chasing down a top 10, top 5, or even a victory as the day goes on. Now he finds himself right behind defending champion DJ Stagner. And Stagner right now in the blackout, number 64, got the championship last season in Charlotte. Season, of course, still a ways to go until the next championship finale. The big thing for Stagner, as it was the season prior, consistency. If you can start racking up those top 5s and top 10s, you'll be able to make it into the clash and go from there. And right now, DJ finds himself 13th on the timing charts, so he's looking good to be a consistent threat this season again. Hoping to get a bit more settled into the car, though, to try to compete further up on the running order without any incidents. Rob Ackley going to be in the grass, or pushed it just a bit too far. Drivers are testing the limits right now to see what this track can handle. And it looks like Justin Morton, one of which right now, second on the board. And he's trying to push it a bit further as well. Cal Filarski going to be spun off the exit, almost leading into the boot there. But we're taking the NASCAR configuration tonight. A much shorter circuit, much quicker lap times. The fastest, a 1:12.8, which almost matches up to some Cup Series times on the slower end. These drivers are at their limit, going 100% for those fast laps on the board. And looking further back, pit road is occupied by many drivers right now, one of which is going to be your defending winner in Travis McQuistion. Able to make those fantastic defensive moves with got it done at Daytona. He's got momentum on his side right now, looking to keep it going and perhaps come home with yet another top 10. Currently finds himself 16th on the timing charts right now, so in the middle of the pack for the most part, hoping to get a bit more done as he's 1 second behind the fastest time, but only just about 0.2 of a second off the top 10. The top 10 is only separate now by 0.7 of a second, with Chad Mikus, the final man in it, the number 25 machine, taking himself to the final spot there in the top 10 just a few laps ago. He's already clocked in a total of 41 practice laps, more than anyone else, and as a matter of fact, that is more than what this race will last in. So he's got himself a load of experience, and he's gotten it in just under an hour. So he knows about a race distance worth of experience compared to these guys in this specific combination. We'll see if that plays out in his favor as the day goes on. If we go green, we do expect higher strategy, and we do expect to see many drivers coming to pit road. Returning tonight for the first time with a brand new number, that's Tyler Hensley in the number 46. Taking a good look at that Exalta number 46 machine. Last season, he was the number 5. That's now going to be the number held by Chris Gabeau, and it looks like instead it'll be Hensley in the number 46 machine for the foreseeable future. Another driver with another new number. He's another one of those guys to keep an eye out for. He's in 8th right now in the timing standings, while Blake Gordon and his number 13 now sit in 6th. The target number 13 going to be on pit road right now, as most drivers are, but still a few are looking to make some gains. Matthew Thunhorse going to swerve down to the inside there and get back going. Looks like he's going to just barely let Casey Shue go there, and Thunhorse one of those road course threats to think about when this race goes on. The big consistent 3 that we've seen compete at road courses this season so far have been Bressie, Thunhorse, and Justin Morton. And by this season, we mean the overall year. The overall points calculation for the grand prize, a sim rig courtesy of Next Level Racing, will give both the prior season and this season the same amount of weight. So you want to be the overall most consistent driver just because last season ended not the way you wanted to be. Matthew Thunhorse still has a chance for the grand prize here, and he's a top 5 driver at the road courses whenever we head to him. So I think he's got a shot to pull it off yet again, currently 6th, 5th on the timing charts. And looking further through, now all 30 drivers in the session have taken the time. Going back to Cal Filarski here with his damaged number 6 machine. 4 seconds off the top time on the board with a 1 minute and 17 second mark. It looks like he's got too much damage to keep on going. He'll limp it down to nearly pit road exit and try to get it going yet again. Only 6 practice laps for Filarski so far, so the good majority of the field has more time on the track compared to him. That's going to be a big disadvantage. Of course, some drivers have gone overboard, going for over 40 laps of practice, but others are under the 10 lap mark. The least amount of practice for any driver right now looks to be DJ Stagner, only 4 laps put in for the number 64, but he sits in 13th on the order, whereas Trevor Trago has 5 laps, sits in 28th, and Cal Filarski has 6 laps and sits dead last in 30th. And right now, the fair middle point, Rob Ackley, number 22, has had 24 laps. Justin Morton just entered his 41st, but it looks like he's going to exit it quite quickly. And as we take a look back up to pit road, it looks like most drivers have called it a day here in practice. Now looking forward to a chance in qualifying. The track's going to become empty for the very first time tonight as practice will conclude. Rob Ackley, the fastest man here in Watkins Glen so far. We'll see if he can capture that coveted pole position as we say hello to qualifying here in Schuyler County. And now the track is due to empty. Just like that, practice is over. We'll be right back to update our graphics settings here. It looks like Watkins Glen, unlike our most recent race at Daytona, will not suffer from the same issue of immense fog. If you were with us on FTN last time we were live here with the Ignite series, Daytona was quite literally hard to watch. The fog over the track was immense, and almost the entirety of the circuit very early on was all gray. Even later in the race, it barely cleared up just enough to see the finish. Now it looks like it's only cloudy skies and not a foggy atmosphere here in the virtual Watkins Glen, so that should be no worry as the night goes on. Ackley going to be on his way, no worry for him, as he'll take it through the bus stop and he eats the curbs up. That's the way you want to do it, cutting down on that distance, optimizing your line. Even though the curbs might be a bit hard to hit on the very first try, you'll get used to them as a driver and you just have to go over them as best as you can. That's the example of what happens when you don't. Kyle Brooks going to end up right behind the bus stop. Thankfully, going to be able to get back going. Looking further back, Alan Dobbs going to be on the way. Cal Filarski too. DJ Stagner going to be there as well. All these drivers looking to take a time this time around. And it looks like the first man to get to the start-finish line is going to be just a few seconds ahead of us. Let's get up to it this time through. Timothy Johnston going to take us to the green flag here in qualifying. 2 flying laps, 8 minutes of time to set them. And Johnston now going to be on the way, the first driver to take it down on the 90-degree turn, the first turn on the track, and now he'll be back on the move. Nicely uses the curb. If you go past the curb on the first turn, according to iRacing, that's a track limit violation. So the best thing to do is to be a little easier through the braking zone and let the exit do the talking. Better exit, better run through the S's, and you'll have much more speed coming into the curbs where drivers have to go all over them to make some time. Johnston does so quite well and will go 4 for 4 and going right through all the curb, and now he's going to be back on his way. We're not running the classic layout tonight, as we mentioned, running the NASCAR layout that's been used ever since 1986 when NASCAR consistently began going to this track. They've only missed it 1 year since that point, 2020, of course, due to a worldwide pandemic. Otherwise, this track has been solid as a rock, and it's provided fantastic racing every time around. The action, the finishes, the strategy, they all come together to create the aura of Watkins Glen, and it's been iconic ever since we began going here as a group in terms of stock car racing. On the virtual side, that's the same, and Rob Ackley takes it to the top of the board, now 71 thousandths ahead of Justin Morton and Tyler Hensley, who's going to spin, and that's going to be his qualifying run. Hensley with a very strong opener, but won't be able to double it up. In the similarly designed Exalta number 24, Thomas Bresci will be on the way, and as we had at Daytona, now with a bit more visibility, taking a look on board with Bresci, this is his VR helmet camera on the bottom right of your screen. And that's exactly what Bresci is seeing. So you can see he's really working the wheel, going out of the S's there. Almost looked like he was out of control. Fantastic save there. And it looks like it's going to be back to reality from the fantasy. He'll take it through the curbs and try to make it a bit less exciting. He's almost on the edge of control, and he's going to keep on going. You can see the camber right through the corner here as he's all on that right turn. And just like that, we'll be able to take it through to the final few segments. Now for Bresci, already going to be fourth on the board here. Matthew Thunhorse going to be the man on top for now, and it looks like Thunhorse has not been taken out of that top spot until now. Justin Morton goes up by 69 thousandths of a second. Now the number 9 machine's on the top spot. Matthew Thunhorse settles back into second, and Rob Ackley is going to be there in third. DeBarro's going to be fourth. Thomas Bresci's going to jump up there and put Anthony back into fifth. And Tyler Hensley holds on with sixth, even though he only completed one lap. Drivers are still going right now. Looks like the first wave is over. Going back to Nicholas Cohan, who's now in 22nd. Mick Tarbuck now going to be on the way. And as we mentioned, brand new sponsor for him, IMDAP number 29 Brembo machine. And it looks as good as ever. Not the best run for him last time we went racing. Of course, that was at Daytona. However, it looks like now, as we go through yet again, he's looking to redeem himself. Tarbuck is a solid road course racer too. He might not be all as experienced as drivers like, say, Thunhorse or Bresci, but when he can put it together, he is very solid, and that's exactly what you need. If you don't have race-winning pace, keep it on the track, make sure you hit your marks, and there might just be a chance for you at the end of the day. We've seen drivers who don't necessarily have road course speed before get their chance up in front. Of course, as of recent, in the real world, Watkins Glen has given us no surprises, but you never know. Michael McDowell, he seemed like a surprise coming in, but he dominated in Indianapolis. He might have another chance to see another surprise, both here virtually and in the real world. And Brandon Bernhardt going to be making it through. He's going to be 24th right now. He'll back it into pit road. Shane Ewing, Boomer Logan, both not taking times just yet, but they are still on the track. So as it stands, drivers are still taking laps here in qualifying, but it looks like most of which already have. 4 minutes remaining, so we'll get to you, your starting grid, just a bit early, as Timothy Johnson's going to be the man we focus on right now. The USAA machine still taking some times here in his first start of this 2023 B season. He's a very quiet driver. We don't mention him all too often in these broadcasts, but when he's on, he's on. Very solid, top 5, top 10 driver on the best of days, and when he comes to the checkered flag, most often, he comes home with a very good result. So Johnston, I would not be surprised to see him up in front. He's got top 10 qualifying pace so far, and it would be hard for him to be knocked off, as it looks like now he'll take himself off the track and back into pit road before the race gets on its way. And with Johnston in, it looks like now Boomer Logan's the only driver who has a chance of going out to take another time in qualifying. Every other driver has either taken them or sitting on pit road after their lap. And with that in mind, the starting grid is almost already set. Upstate New York looking forward to a 40-lap feature race here on Monday night to kick off Watkins Glen week. So how's about we take a trip through your starting grid before the race gets on its way? Without further ado, let's take a quick look at the Chance 3 Design Shop at the Glen starting order with the number 9 machine putting himself on top. New look for the number 9, a bit of a different number compared to last week, and the new look brings a new level of performance. Justin Morton with a 112.888 gonna go up there to the top of the board, the number 9. Right beside him is the number 8 of Matthew Thunhorst, almost a tenth of a second off to comprise your front row. Thunhorst is there with a 112.957. Then Rob Ackley, fastest man in practice, drops down 2 spots in qualifying. He'll be starting third in the number 22 machine with a 113.047. And next to him, it'll be Thomas Bresci, 113.09 for the 24. Anthony DeBarro going to be position number 5 with a 113.209, and Tyler Hensley pushing as hard as he could puts himself in the 6th spot here in qualifying, only 1 lap before the spin in turn 1. He's still going to be in there in the top 10, just ahead of defending champion DJ Stagner, 2/1000ths of a second behind the 3rd row. He's there with a 113.418. Alec Daffin in the number 48 machine returned to the top 10 in qualifying with a 113.423, and Timothy Johnston finds himself in 9th inside of row number 5 with a 113.517. Chad Mikus rounds out the top 10 with a 1:13.578. Then from there, you're going to see Don Stevenson in position number 11, just ahead of Blake Gordon in 12th, and Nick Tarbuck's going to be scored in 13th with Cody Griffin, position number 14 with a 113.67. Casey Shue going to round out the top 15, and defending winner Travis McQuistion's going to be right beside him with a 114.036. It'll be Cody Smith 17th, Michael Stroll in 18th, and then Alan Dobbs in 19th with Brian McFerrin rounding out your top 20. Then from there, you're going to see Gael Brooks 21st and Forrest Smith 22nd, Nicholas Cohans 23rd with Brandon Bernhardt 24th, and Kyle Cooper's 25th with Cal Filarski, the final man to take a time with a 116.018. Those who do not take a time include the following: Chris Gabeau, Boomer Logan, Shane Ewing, and finally in the number 37, Trevor Trago to round out their 30-car field tonight in Watkins Glen. This is your starting grid for the Chance 3 Design Shop at the Glen. 26 drivers take a time, 30 drivers have arrived to the track, and every one of them has a chance to come home victorious at the end of this 40-lap spectacle. And now that qualifying is all but over, Boomer Logan's still going to be there on pit road, no signs of heading out, and it looks like he's going to stay there as the track is emptied yet again. Qualifying has concluded. Looking at the turn 1 grandstand, that's the 90 grandstand, 90-degree turn to kick off the lap here at the Glen, and it looks like we're just moments away from kicking this race off. Qualifying has concluded. Now let's see your starting grid in formation here in upstate New York. The Jackie Stewart grandstand looks over the final 2 turns on the track. You can see the fans are already packing the stands here. Many infield campers, many drivers just outside the circuit, and all of the fans, as well as those viewing on FTN, looking forward to a great performance from every driver. Right now, looks like the field already at a standstill on the start-finish line, and with a bit of time before the race gets on its way, how's about we show you your FTN race rundown and track information for today's event. It is, of course, the Chance 3 Design Shop at the Glen. 40 laps on the table, just about 138 miles here in this configuration at Watkins Glen. No fast repairs or instantaneous damage repair. It's a one and done. If you mess up your car, you're going to be held responsible on pit road. You'll have to be there for hopefully not too long, but anything major, it might ruin your chances at coming home with the win. Xfinity machines going to be used tonight. It's going to be the Mustangs, the Supers, and the Chevy Camaros on display. No Camrys. That's the Cup Series, and in addition to that, this is, of course, a road course run here in the Ignite Series, and as they've been all season long, very, very exciting. But first, road course this season. Not this year. Drivers do have experience this year with the Xfinity machines, but this season, the 2023 B campaign in specific, it's the first time out. Defending winner, Daytona winner, Travis McCuistion kicks off his season quite nicely, and he'd hope to keep that momentum going as only the second race of the tour. It's great to get off on the right foot, but it's better to keep it there. And here at Watkins Glen, it's going to take all you've got and then some to do just that. Watkins Glen International opened in 1956, Schuyler County, New York, and it's not only 4 turns, quite a lot more than that, depending on the configuration. Very variable. As it stands, it's over a 2.5-mile circuit here in upstate New York that the NASCAR Cup Series uses, and first was seen in 1957 of the NASCAR Cup schedule, but consistently has been seen ever since 1986. Early dominators such as Tim Richmond for the Hendrick Cars campaign, well, it looks like Hendrick has still carried over their dominance. Defending winner, of course, Kyle Larson over AJ Allmendinger, but here, manufacturers, setups, all even. In the Ignite Series, it's up to the driver. What can you bring to the table to get the win? Justin Morton knows. He's brought the pace. Now, he's just got to keep it there consistently. As the field rolls up the S's for the very first time tonight, Morton going to be first, Matthew Thunor second, Rob Ackley in third. If you're joining us on FTN tonight, of course, great to have you here on the Ignite broadcast, but this is not the only stream we'll be showing here on the channel today. You'll be immediately redirected to another broadcast after this one concludes, which I believe will be the Schumacher Cup Series at Sonoma. They're doing a 50-lap race right now, 160 kilometers, so more road course racing is live on FTN right now. In addition, another road course race, the Circuit of the Americas for the 4-Wheel Truck Series. You've got all your options tonight. COTA, Watkins Glen, and Sonoma with the trucks, Xfinity machines, and the Cup Series. We've got a lot going on at FTN on Mondays, and if you want to stick around after this race, we'll bring you more coverage of road course racing until our jobs are done. River Page broadcasting the 4-Wheel Trucks, Andrew Schulte right now broadcasting the Schumacher Racing League, and as always, David Kreutz here with you in the Integrity Racing League in the Ignite Series, Chance 3 Design Shop at the Glen. And now as the drivers come through after the carousel, time to hit the switchback. It's going to be one more left turn, then one final right turn. They'll head under the Go Bowling Bridge, and for the first time tonight, the engines will roar under green. Fans are packing the stands, and you can see every driver ready. Double file, pacing formation, but now the iRacing official pace car will let them go to business for the second time this season. Welcome to Watkins Glen International. This is a Chance 3 Design Shop at the Glen. Let's go racing from upstate New York. As drivers come through the first minute of racing, Matthew Thunor able to take the lead. A fantastic jump for him. Gets him just ahead of Justin Morton, and Morton gets loose that time by further extending the race lead the number 8 machine has. Now Thunor's going to be out in front ahead of Morton, Bresci, DeBarro, and Rob Ackley. Just like that, the field going to be underway and single file for the most part, going back to the guys in the back of the pack, you'll see Brandon Bernhardt now 30th, Trevor Trago 29th, and Chris Gabeau going to be 28th, with Cal Filarski gaining some, putting himself up into 27th. Now, Matthew Thonos trying to extend his race lead. That jump is a very big deal, and it looks like he's already been able to stretch his lead just a bit more. Once again, the veterans here in the road course races are taking control, and Matthew Thonos looking to take control for the first time since the clash began last season. Regular season champion here in the very first Integrity Ignite Series season, but ever since then, season fell off the rails. Not able to compete for the championship, eventually letting it go to guys like Bresci and DJ Stagner, who both fought for it at the final race of the season. Now Thonos looking to come back with a vengeance here, and where else to lock in a win but at a road course. We are going to be on an international swing coming up soon. After Watkins Glen, it's going to be the Twin Ring Motegi. That's going to be another very interesting race, but right now these drivers don't want to worry about what's on the other side of the pond. They want to focus on what is here. You'll see Bresci is the final man of this three-car breakaway. Then it's about a second and a half that goes back to Anthony DeBarro. Rob Ackley is going to be right on his tail, and the rest of the field still going to be brought along with them. Alec Daffin there going to be in the 6th position. Tyler Hensley going to be 7th, and it's Chad Mikus there in 8th. Very solid debut so far for Hensley. Had a lot of pace in qualifying, but surely it got cut a bit too short based on that spin on his second and final timed lap. That really set him off the course, and he could have been much higher if he made that lap stick, but now it looks like he'll have to find himself battling to get inside the top 5 rather than battling to stay in it compared to being pushed out. And looking further throughout the field, very calm in the mid-pack right now. Most drivers running their own race. Not a lot of guys are very close to each other on pace right now. As you saw in qualifying, about a 4-second spread between your pole time and the time that eventually set the final moments on the track. Of course, the final moments used by those who are a bit slower. 1 minute and 16 seconds lap at the back and a 1 minute 12 at the front. So the spread is very vast here at Watkins Glen. It might be one of the simpler road courses, but still, it takes a lot of finesse to be very quick as the night goes on, and a driver like Blake Gordon would know it. Nice pass down to the inside for Blake. He'll be able to put himself up into 11th. Now chasing down DJ Stagner just a spot ahead. DJ going to be there in the 10th position. And it looks like Timothy Johnston stays in the single digits, holding fort in position number 9. Chad Mikus going to try to get back there with Tyler Hensley, and Hensley's going to wiggle, which will give Chad the spot immediately thereafter. So just like that, in the 46 going to drop his position, almost finding himself on the short end of the stick. Cal Filarski going to be in trouble, and another driver is too. Brandon Bernhardt, both drivers 29th and 30th respectively, but that's your first big incident, and it looks like these two having some trouble getting it going yet again. Looking for an instant replay right now on FTN, you can see Bernhardt still trying to pull away from it, and it's Cal Filarski, Brandon Bernhardt, both struggling at the back of the field, which will not bring out the caution. It looks like it starts with the number 6. And that it does. Filarski ends up in the grass, then goes back into the wall and tails out and hits a Bernhardt. And it's a tough break for both drivers there. They're going to end up very far behind the main group. And that's about the worst it could get for not only Filarski, but Brandon Bernhardt barely getting tagged, which sends him in the wall, and eventually he finds himself behind Filarski. He'll be scored in 30th as Calvin gets back up to be in 29th. Both drivers are still going right now very far behind Trevor Trago. Trevor now has a 15-second advantage over the number 6 machine and about a 23-second head start on Brandon Bernhardt. Cody Griffin right now having a bit of trouble too. He's got some front end damage on that number 3. He's still going right now. Granted, it looks like it's a bit more troublesome than the experience for most. Definitely very loose going through the S's there, just trying to put the same amount of power to keep competition. And it looks like he's almost out of control every corner he goes through. Gonna try to keep a watch out for this number 3 Chevrolet, as it looks like every turn becomes that much harder. Gonna bobble over the little bus stop here, but it looks like it's a big task for him to even get around. Taking a look inside the cockpit, you'll see how much he's working. And it looks looks like for the most part having to feather that throttle there. Really no trust in what he's got under the hood right now. And even though he's still ahead of Trago, it looks like that is just based off the ability to keep that thing on the road. Not much more he can do right now, but trying to keep up with this final pack. Shane Ewing, Chris Gabot, Boomer Logan, all of which still going strong right now. No damage behind and no damage up in front. Matthew Thunhorst is trying to run a clinic right now. He has himself a 0.6 of a second advantage, which is not too big, but it could be enough. Of course, at a road course, if you make a mistake, it could cost you over a second, but it can always be recovered. Road courses are long enough where a second, a lap being lost, might not be the be-all, end-all. If you make a mistake, a big one on one lap and another driver in front of you makes another on a different section, then it's just about fair game from that point onward. You're able to recover, get yourself back close to the position, and while these leaders are certainly the least mistake-prone of anyone, if it happens, there's still a chance, even if you slip up from the front to the back. Thunhorst now going to see that Matthew Thunhorst indeed just barely has the advantage. He's telling himself, just keep it up there, hold your line, keep your marks, and I'm sure nothing more, nothing less. One man down to pit road is Brandon Bernhardt, and it looks like he's the first man through as the rest of the field keeps on going. It looks like the 81's damage is eventually going to be too bad to keep on going. He'll have to be on pit road for a little while here. No fast repairs, as we mentioned. He's going to have to stay on pit road until the damage that is required to be fixed is repaired. Now it looks like Morton's really on the back bumper, that number 8, able to cut it from 0.6 of a second down to 3. So even though Morton let himself go earlier on, it looks like he's now clawing back and trying to make up those spots in real time. And the final man of this equation, of course, is going to be Thomas Bressi, looking on board with that number 24 machine. He has the privilege, per se, of running back here, letting these two fight each other for the race lead, and going from there, able to sort of analyze the situation right ahead of him, and he doesn't have to get all too aggressive to be a part of it. He knows he's got the pace right now, got a big breakaway to 4th, so he'll be able to stay in the podium even if he slips up with time or two, and he's going to have to wait and see if the drivers ahead make any mistake. Thunhorst and Morton now pressuring each other more and more, and if they eventually slip up, who knows, it could be a 2-for-1 pass as Thomas Bressi sends it deep into turn 1 to keep himself in contention. That's the difference between a good entry and a good exit there. Bressi definitely looked like he lunged it in there just to try to keep himself even on the entry front, but now off corner exit, these two drivers, the 8 and the 9 of Thunhorst and Morton respectively, able to pull away that much more. So Bressi, thankfully for his sake, has the draft, but would not work out if he had a damaged number 24. It's all about the aerodynamics right now. If you got that much pace and you're laying back, you can sort of manage it a little bit more conservative, but that's not conservative at all. Thomas Bressi sends it deep on Justin Morton. That's going to shake Justin up, and now he's going to find himself in 3rd. Pressure's on Matthew Thunhorst, and it looks like it's from another driver instead of the number 9. How about that maneuver there? Just going to be made moments before the lap concludes, and Justin Morton fades back into 3rd as we are going to take an instant replay here on FTN. See, Morton has the advantage, but he lets a gap go, and Bressi simply too quick to stop. A good recovery for Morton to go up to the top of the track to build that momentum and get back on the way, but certainly not at all what he wanted to experience, even only 9 laps in. Just like that, Thomas Bressi able to score the 2nd spot. Matthew Thunhorst still leads, and Justin Morton remains in 3rd. Looking further back, most battles are not even close to being double file so far. 9 laps in at a 40 in the Next Level Racing. Number 18 of Cody Smith now finds himself there in, quite fittingly, the 18th position. He's going to be battling now with Michael Stroll as they come around to the double digits for the next time by. It looks like Smith's going to be in the middle of the pack right now. He's a very good oval driver, but it looks like the road courses are not necessarily his forte. Just going to have to hold on, make sure he has a clean run, and try to come home with a top 15 or a top 10 with the way things are going. He'll slice down to the bottom, though, to try to take a spot from Michael Stroll, but it does not look like it's going to work out. Gael Brooks stays on the back bumper there and almost stole a spot, and Stroll goes way up high. It's Casey Shue. Casey Shue going to be in trouble. No caution call as Casey's still there on the track. and it looks like all drivers have been told, but there will not be a caution thrown. Not quite sure what's going on, so we're going to take a look back 10 laps in. Casey Shu is stalled coming out of the bus stop. And taking a look at Casey's number 4, getting that runoff, putting the power down, and a tap going to come there from Alan Dobbs. Just like that, Casey Shu going to end up fading back throughout the field. Currently going to be scored in 27th, and that's a heartbreaker for the number 4 machine of Casey Shu, sent way back. And now at the quarter waypoint of this race, the number 4 machine far out of competition, and would look to be a very, very solid run for the 213 Simware machine. Alan Dobbs is still going right now in 15th, and that looked to be the battle for position number 15, which drivers like Stroll and Cody Smith are both now approaching. 10 laps in for the number 18 machine of Cody Smith, and Next Level Racing, the premier partner here for the Integrity Ignite Series, has been a fantastic one all the way. The overall champion for this season will receive a sim rig worth $2,000 courtesy of the company, and for dedicated sim racers who deserve nothing but the best sim racing performance hardware, visit nextlevelracing.com after tonight's broadcast, the premier partner of the Integrity Racing League and the Integrity Ignite Series. We'll bring you a brief message courtesy of those at Next Level Racing, and we at FTN will be right back. And as we've gotten by the first 10 laps of this race, looking at the Next Level Racing machine of Cody Smith, looking to take it up to the next level here. Things have just gotten started at Watkins Glen, and drivers are getting into a rhythm. If you're joining us for the first time on FTN, great to have you here as we look at the first few laps. It's already the first dozen on the way, and if you want to keep up with all eNASCAR information, all iRacing information, be sure to check out the official eNASCAR newsletter with the QR code at the bottom left of your screen. It's a fantastic resource if you want to learn more about the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series, the highest level of competition. If you want to get in on the iRacing fun, celebrating their 15th anniversary as a platform, iRacing, going strong since 2008, is having a summer sale, I believe 40% off right now. So if you want to check out all the latest offers to get in on the most enticing online simulator on this planet, check out iRacing.com. We'd love to have you there, and be sure to sign up for the official eNASCAR newsletter courtesy of eNASCAR and iRacing. And as we go through so far, been a very calm race in the middle of the pack and the front as well. Justin Morton going to be shuffled back into third. Thomas Bressie still going to put on that pressure here for Matthew Funhorst. Not much has changed at the front of the pack, and it looks like ever since he made that daring move out of the bus stop, Thomas Bressie has kept himself within a quarter of a second of your race leader. All three manufacturers being represented right now in the top three, and right now is the bow tie in the middle, the blue oval up in front, and the silver oval right there in the back of the frame. Right now, the top three are quite isolated, and we'll take a look yet again at the onboard camera with Thomas Bressie, and it's a special one. VR headset camera from that number 24 will show you exactly what he's seeing right now. He is immersed inside the digital cockpit, and it's as if he is inside it right now working on that steering wheel, going back and forth, making the precise adjustments he needs to make himself competitive. He's got all the access to every viewing angle, moving his head very slightly right now just to make sure he's got a very consistent approach, and it looks like it's worked out quite well so far. Takes the curb a bit wider that time through, then gonna take it back again to the right and get it back going down the start-finish line to make it lap 14 out of 40. We're expecting drivers to split up their tire strategy the way things are going right now. Going to be 20 laps and then 20 laps, and then it will be the race, of course, over. Splitting this race up into a one-stop strategy looks to be the move for all of those who are on the track. We'll see whether or not anyone tries to get daring right now, as the only dares that we've seen on track have been the very risky and aggressive appliance application, per se, of power. Bressi almost going to get up there into the grass, and it looks like right now he is feeling very confident about what he's got under the hood. That Exalta, number 24, stays in the runner-up spot as Matthew Thunhorst continues to lead. Justin Morton right there, going to remain inside the top three as well. It's going to be Rob Ackley now chasing down Anthony DeBarro. This will be for the fourth spot, and after Rob Ackley, of course, not having the race that he wanted to start the season at Daytona, looking to have a good rebound night here in Watkins Glen. Where else but upstate New York to get your bearings back in? The Glen is a great place for a driver who really has that ability to memorize what's on the table. Now, it's not a necessarily tedious track to memorize. It's no Nürburgring, it's no Le Mans, but if you get it down just right, you'll have a major advantage compared to those drivers who are around you. Consistency is key, and if you can consistently put down the perfect marks, braking points, acceleration, shifting gears, using the power correctly, you'll be that much quicker than someone who knows it but doesn't know it all too well. If you have a bit more specificity, a bit more, shall we say, technique or finesse, you'll be a much better driver here. You just have to keep it in your mind as the race goes on. It's a very mental track, even if it is, on paper, one of the more simpler road courses. Thomas Bressi able to take the lead as well. Number 24 machine now going to find himself on the top of the board. How about we take a look at how this man took the race lead? New race leader, it's going to be Thomas Bressi up in front at the Glen. And it looks like right through the 90, Thunhorst is going to get loose there on the curb, and that's all she wrote. Just like that, Bressi's going to take it down to the inside, and they're going to touch each other, but Bressi still remains clear. Very close call for both of your leaders there, luckily able to keep on going, and the 24 of Thomas Bressi remains out in front as he'll take it now to lap number 15 of 40, make it 16. Very confident in his equipment so far. Now looking further back, the closest battle on the racing circuit, of course, it is not going to be up in front necessarily. It's going to be just behind. Second place is going to be a battle between both Matthew Thunhorst and Justin Morton. Morton going to go way up high there and let Thunhorst get back to it as one driver is going to be in trouble, and it looks like it's not trouble at all. Don Stevenson down a pit road. This is when the split begins. Cody Smith on the way as well, and drivers are trying to undercut the strategy to get some track position and perhaps lead a lap. Number 18 of Cody Smith is down and in, so's Don Stevenson, and it looks like Brandon Bernhardt back on the way, 2 laps down. Cody Griffin is 4 down, Nicholas Cohan is 3 down, and Brandon Bernhardt is 2 down with Cal Filarski 1 lap down on pace. Rest of the field remains out in front, and it looks like now lap times are much slower. That time by for Thomas Bressi, he ran a 1:16.03. His best lap in the race is a 1:13.6. That goes to show you how major the tire fall off is right now. It's over 3 seconds worth for these drivers. Even those at the front of the field are struggling big. 1 minute and 17 second times are no stranger to this track right now. So it looks like it's going to be a much harder task to keep yourself at maximum performance when the tires are wearing off as bad as they are right now. Just like that, we're going to see some battling up at the front of the field. Alec Daffin now going to fade back into 7th with Chad Mike is taking position number 6. Chad able to take it very similar to how Thomas Bressi got the lead. A bit of a slip up there coming off the 90, and that's going to lose Alec Daffin a position. 17 laps in, give it to that number 25. Looking back, you'll see Blake Gordon going to be in 8th, Timothy Johnston consistently holding fort in 9th, and DJ Stagner still finds himself the last man in the top 10, with Tyler Hensley fading back just a bit, still within arm's reach of a top 10 finish, so he's not in a bad place at all, just has to keep on going here. Consistency is key. You just want to keep on pushing until the pit stops come. For most drivers, not yet. Lap 20 coming soon, and that's when estimates are going to be realized for many. 24 laps to go this time by. Very soon, we'll see the halfway marker, and very soon, pit road will come alive with the sounds of roaring stock cars. And we see Bressi that time by having much more trouble hitting the perfect marker, even though he has a 2-second lead. Wasn't able to make it down to the apex of the corner, even went a bit wide on the exit of the 90. Almost found himself with a track limit violation, just barely able to avoid that, staying within the confines of the curb. Matthew Thunhorst and Justin Morton are both struggling equally so. As we take a look at the close-up drone camera here, you'll see how hard Thunhorst struggles with getting the curbs down right at a high speed. He's getting through there, but not as aggressive, and it looks like just able to make it out. Only 2 seconds separate them now, Bressi and Thunhorst, but it's going to be even out yet again down the straightaways. Thomas puts the power down first, and everyone else has no choice but to settle for second, and then so on and so forth. 23 laps to go this time by. While it is pretty early in the racing, 22 laps to go is just ahead of us. So how's about we crank it up with the best cameras on the iRacing platform, trackcamsforgorments.com. Be sure to check out trackcams22.com as we crank it up with 22 laps to go, courtesy of Track Cams for Gorments. And as Thomas Bressi comes down to pit road this time by, the leaders are coming in. Our Crank It Up has concluded and pit road is busy now with 19 laps remaining on the order. The number 24 makes it through this time by. He'll take Rob Ackley, Anthony DeBarro, and Chad Mike is with them, not to mention Alec Daffin and Blake Gordon. Timothy Johnston gonna round out this group. Matthew Thunhorst opts to stay out, and he will be your race leader, looking to stretch it long instead of going into the undercut zone. Now it's going to be the 8 against everybody on strategy. We'll see whether or not that's the move to make, as now it's Matthew Thunhorst and Gael Brooks first and second. Gael going to be 25 seconds off your current race leader. However, now finds himself inside the podium as almost every other driver has gone down a pit road. Bressi going to be the fastest man out, and it looks like despite some front end damage there, the 24 is still moving very quickly. Going to be just ahead of Justin Morton, and now it's going to be all about keeping this race green till the end for Thomas. Looks like he's the fastest man when it comes to saving tire late in the going, so that's what he's going to try to do. Make sure he does not get passed along the way, because that damage, while not major, could be detrimental, especially before things get really back into the swing of things. Thunhorst is in this time by. Now he's going to come through. It's estimated to be about a 45-second pit stop at the most. Fastest time for any driver on pit road so far appears to be held by Justin Morton with a 42.4. That is the time to beat on pit road right now. Drivers are only about 22 seconds away from Thunhorst, and it looks like it's going to be all about now or never for these two, Bressi and Morton. You're going to have to put the power down through the front straightaway. Thunhorst going to be on his way momentarily. The number 8 machine has not yet gone out, and it looks like he will be passed as the top two of before make it through. Matthew Thunhorst going to have a not-so-quick pit stop, 43.9, slower than both Bressi and Morton by over a second. That's not at all what you want to see if you're the driver. That number 8, that was the money stop, and now he'll be fading further back, seeing now the Brandon Bernhardt machine right in his way. Thankfully, Bernhardt gonna pull right out of the racing line, let these drivers go, but still, multiple that this number 8 will have to claw through. Rob Ackley's now going to be in 4th. Justin Morton going to be in 3rd. And Thomas Bressi is in 2nd. According to timing and scoring, 23 laps in, it is now Gael Brooks up in front. Just like that, Brandon Bernhardt going to end himself up on the top side of the track. Looks like it's going to be a very bad exit on the bus stop, and the 81 going to have to get back on his way right behind the field. Has not been the night for the number 81 so far. 18 laps to go, and he finds himself 2 laps down behind almost the entirety of the field, and struggling to keep himself on the track without an issue. Rob Ackley now going to be much ahead of Matthew Thunhorst as Thomas Bressi begins to stretch his advantage ahead of Justin Morton in preparation for the final few laps of this race. Only one more driver has to come down to pit road. That would be Gael Brooks. And Brooks gonna let Bressi by. Looks like his hopes to keep that race lead are over. He'll be ending up on the bottom side of the track right there as both leaders go right by him. 17 laps to go, and the white flag will be waved in regard to a surrender. Gael Brooks lets the top 2 drivers through, and just like that, it's going to be Bressi and Morton back up ahead, 1-2, as they make it by Trevor Trago and his number 37 McConey setup shot machine. Bressi's going to go way wide there, got very loose, able to save it, and he'll hold on to keep going another day. Looks like it's going to be the damage on the front end. That's very minor for Bressi. That Chevy Camaro is still absolutely the fastest man on the board right now. That time by ran a 113.853, the only driver to have done so out of anyone on the track. The track temperature definitely getting higher. It is getting much more slick. The pavement getting warmer. Grip is at a premium. So take what you got. You can't be upset if you have any right now. As Gael Brooks comes down, it is now going to be the number 71 into pit road. He'll be fading back from outside the top dozen. And just like that, the old lineup is just about the same as before. A few changes. Rob Ackley going to be able to make himself a podium sitter. Ackley is now in 3rd. Matthew Thunhorst going to be in 4th. Anthony DeBarro going to be in 5th. And Chad Mikas is there in position number 6. Stagner's now firmly inside the top 10 in 7th. Alec Daffin going to be in 8th. Blake Gordon is now in 9th, and it looks like instead of being outside the top 10, Tyler Hensley is now in it, right behind the battle between both Alec Daffin and Blake Gordon. Now Hensley trying to make a move on Daffin, does not make it stick. Close, but nothing works out overall. How about that? Very close call for the number 46 and number 48 respectively. They'll keep on going, thankfully without contact as well. Just like that, Bresci going to be able to lead the way to make it 15 laps remaining here in the Chance 3 Design Shop at the Glen. 26 smooth sailing laps, and it has been a sprint so far in upstate New York. These drivers have been very consistent, very quick, and for the most part, very clean. Only 2 retirees. It looks like Cody Griffin going to be scored 30th tonight on his return this season. Going to be the number 3 machine, 14 laps down, and Nicholas Cohan going to be 13 laps down in the number 21. He will be scored in 29th. As it stands, 23 drivers remain on the lead lap, so many drivers are still up here on pace and on strategy. Very good to see, but the front runners, once again, they always tend to break away. 15 laps to go, and the final man inside the top 15 is Cody Smith for Next Level Racing. Yet again, Next Level Racing provides high-quality sim racing performance hardware for any driver on the sim racing scene, dedicated as ever, who deserves nothing but the best. If you'd like to take a look at their products, be sure to go to nextlevelracing.com for all information. We'd love to have you as a part of the Next Level Racing family, proud partner of the Integrity Racing League and the Integrity Ignite Series. We'll take a brief promotional break yet again, courtesy of our friends at Next Level Racing, and we'll be right back with now 14 laps remaining. And as we return now with 14 laps remaining, it is led by Thomas Bresci. 15 to go, make it 14 this time around as the Next Level Racing number 18 battles to keep himself inside the top 15. Right now facing some pressure from defending winner Travis McQuistion, that number 93. Inside the top 15 right now, it looks like he just got into 15th after an incident just ahead of these two drivers, and they find themselves yet again battling firmly in the midfield. So far, the performance has been very solid. Most drivers have been able to hold on quite well. Looks like there's been no major worries in the entirety of the field, no big incidents, some single car spins here or there, but otherwise very clean, very calm, and that's what you love to see at a road course, especially as it's been an all green flag run from start to finish. Bresci, though, going to get some pressure here from Justin Morton. Morton's about the closest he's been all night long to making a move for the race lead, and it looks like now 0.2 of a second separate your top two drivers. Morton knows what Bresci's capable of doing here, and it looks like he's going to have to back it down through the bus stop, loses some time, makes a bit of a mistake, and thankfully going to keep himself out of the wall there to fight another lap. Tyler Hensley going to be now in 11th as Timothy Johnston goes by. The battle to stay inside the top 10 is still not over. Just getting started, as a matter of fact. Still quite a lot of time remains until it's all over here, and it looks like with just a few moments remaining, there's some drivers on their runs. Cal Filarski eventually has to come in. He's the final man, and he's really running it long. Filarski finds himself now in 25th, one lap down, the only driver to spend more than 25 laps on a single stint. He's going the distance, and it looks like he's going to go as long as he can until it's all said and done. And even though he's not necessarily in competition for a lead lap finish here. It's a respectable effort there for the number 6, and still pushing as hard as he can on the original stint. Damage and all, it will not stop him. It looks like the goal, make it to the finish, despite anything that happens on the track. Filarski heats on, going with Brandon Bernhardt 2 laps down, and Boomer Logan 3 down. Looks like troubles for a lot of these drivers as Matthew Thunhorst comes up on the number 94. That's going to be another driver put further down the order. Looks like for Logan, not the night he anticipated. Front end damage got the better of him, and it looks like for him, it would just be great to get this race over with and move on to the next, the Twin Ring Motegi. 29 laps through so far. It looks like Morton was close to making a move, but wasted his opportunity, ended up getting very squirrely off the bus stop, and now we'll have to settle for second for the time being. Of course, it ain't over till it's over, but 30 laps in, and Bressi so far has looked indomitable. Nobody able to make it around this number 24, and it looks like he's going to try to keep it that way. So far, it's been dominance on this run. Rob Ackley's remained in third. Matthew Thunhorst is still trying to chase him down. That time, Thunhorst was about half a second quicker on the lap, so the 22 might be in jeopardy of losing his spot. He looks so far very in the clear, but that could change at a moment's notice if he makes a mistake, if he simply keeps on being a bit off the pace of that number 8 machine. Thunhorst could catch him. They might be far apart for now, but in the blink of an eye, things can change, and even Anthony DeBarro might be involved in the battle to get inside the podium if he can keep his pace up as well. So far, it looks like it's going to be the fastest man on the track. Matthew Thunhorst, that time by, ran a 1:14.895, the only 1 minute and 14 second lap ran by any driver on the circuit. And even those like Thomas Bressi not able to get into that area in terms of pure pace. However, we'll find out whether or not he's able to improve this time through. Brandon Bernhardt coming down to the stripe. The 81 machine going to be side by side with Bressi to be put another lap down. 10 laps to go for Thomas Bressi, and the number 24 leads the way with Justin Morton in second. Going to be Rob Ackley third and Matthew Thunhorst in fourth, with Anthony DeBarro fifth. Chad Mike is 6th, DJ Stagner 7th, and then Blake Gordon in 8th. 29 laps into his run, Cal Filarski does not quit, now finds himself ahead of Chris Gabot, and it looks like Chris, his pace fell off this lap, lost about a second due to a mistake coming into the bus stop, and now Filarski able to make his move and put himself back ahead, and now he'll let that number 5 go right by. So looks like it's going to be back and forth racing at the bottom of the pack. 10 laps remaining here. It has not necessarily been back and forth here, but that can change. All of these drivers are still very, very competitive. And Justin Morton, you know, he does not want to give up before all is said and done. He's still within a half a second of your race leader. And with only 10 laps to go, he'll have to pounce sooner than later if he wants the chance to win at the virtual Watkins Glen. Bressi going to lead him down to the line yet again and make it to single digits. 9 laps to go here in Watkins Glen, and the top 2 drivers remain conjoined to one another. Going to be linked up first and second respectively. Rob Ackley going to be about 2 seconds back, and that time by, Ackley was the fastest man inside the podium, so things are getting a bit interesting. Your last season's Daytona winner, now looking to be a road course ace. He's very quick right now, and it looks like if the time continues to run out, he'll get close. Maybe not enough to win, but he's absolutely within striking distance of making it work to come home, maybe even further up on the podium. Looking very good now. Rob Ackley is to compete for the win. He just has to keep on clawing away. We'll see whether or not that pace is sustainable as multiple lap machines are going to be caught up in one sequence. Kyle Cooper, Casey Shue, they're on the lead lap right now. They're battling for 21st, but the battle for first is coming up on the both of them. We'll see if they play nice with the leaders right now. Casey Shue right now finds himself with the most pressure. He's going to be the driver who really decides how these two make it around. Looks like it's going to be easy. Bressie goes down to the inside line. Justin Morton is due to follow, and it will be side by side. The number 4 is not going to budge at all. Kyle Cooper going to be a bit more aggressive, and that's going to cost him. Cooper's going to go off the track nearly, and it looks like he's going to fade back, find himself yet again side by side with Casey Shue. Shue's got the advantage, and patience looks to be the defining moment for the number 4, letting off early to get it back later. Nice and easy. Let it happen, then get back to work. Nice move for Casey Shue. That's some excellent racecraft, and for Kyle Cooper, just looks like a bit too aggressive. The tires are wearing out. It could have worked out, but it just looks like he got off of the banking there, and it sent him off the course. Not literally, thankfully, but it did send him off his path, trying to stay in competition. Bressie leads the wave, and still 8 laps remaining. Gonna come through yet again, and Thomas is wiggling all over. Taking a look with his onboard camera yet again, you will see how close the margins are. Perfection. He's got to stay up in front with all that pressure, and it looks like he will swoop up to the high side to block the lane yet again. Inside the battle camera, you can see Bressie does have indeed a rear view mirror, both the physical and digital counterpart, so he has an all-access view of every move Justin Morton tries to make. So far, he's not let him up, and it looks like he's going to try to keep it that way. Morton going to go down to the bottom yet again, very close to making it stick. But for now, that is not the case. Bressie going to stay there, keeping it going through the S's yet again, has that advantage stretched out. Justin Morton going to fade back just a bit more, and as we watch the leader camera in the bottom right of your screen, things are tight here at the Glen, and it's still quite far from over for these two leaders. The battle has only just begun. And with two drivers so good at road courses being out in front, we're sure to see a phenomenal finish just like this. Nothing but the best talent up at the top of the board, and with 7 laps remaining, just to get it out of the way, we will bring you your final Next Level Racing promotional break, courtesy of our friends at nextlevelracing.com. High quality sim racing performance products, affordable and as competitive as they can be. For dedicated sim racers who deserve nothing but the best, visit the nextlevelracing.com website after tonight's broadcast. We'd love to have you as a part of the Next Level Racing family. We'll be right back. You won't miss a thing as we return with 7 laps remaining.
This message is brought to you by the rebrand of Florida Graphics and Designs. This publication may not be reposted without the authorized written consent of Florida Graphics and Designs. NASCAR Camping World Ford F-150.
Very tight.
NASCAR Xfinity Ford Mustang.
For quite some time now. Maybe he'll be able to keep
NASCAR Cup Series Next-Gen Ford Mustang.
Keeping that pressure
Arca
on,
Menards.
He has not let off yet, and it looks like he'll keep it that way indeed.
This has been the publication of the redesign and rebranding of Florida Graphics and Designs. This message may not be reposted, republicated, or rebroadcasted without the authorized written consent of Florida Graphics and Designs. Thank you, thanks for your time.
Now the podium is bunched up and Ackley is moving. He finds himself only about 1 second away from your leaders, and he's played the strategy game better than anyone. The only question is, does he have enough time to keep competing with these leaders? It looks like he's running out. He'll have to be even quicker than he's been so far if he wants a chance to come home with the top spot. Going through the bus stop yet again. Bressie going to be just ahead. Now looking on board with Justin Morton in the virtual realm, and with the VR headset on the right side for Thomas Bressie, you're seeing all angles of this race battle for the lead. Up in front, Morton still getting there. Take a look inside his cockpit now and see what's going on inside the Supra. Just like that, the number 9 machine of Justin Morton going to be able to handle it quite nicely through, getting down to the exit. Looks like he'll stay just within the touching distance. He's trying to set it up for the first turn on this lap. The 90 backing it in quite nicely. He'll have Bressie still just ahead, and the number 9 machine gets very loose, but he makes up time once more. Now the S's, who has the advantage through the first set of turns that sweep right up the track. Right now, advantage number 24. He'll find himself still up in front here with time still running out. The Chance 3 Design Shop at the Glen. All comes down to this. You'll see further on back guys like Casey Shue and Matthew Thunhorst. Rob Ackley is now in the picture as well. 4 laps to go, and it looks like Bressie is still trying to stay with it. He keeps it going right through the bus stop. No big issue there. Shane Ewing going to go up to the top side and let them continue to compete. Just like that, Bressie makes it around once more, and the 24 machine continues to try and stretch that advantage. Rob Ackley, he's currently third, and he's gaining big time after time. He was 0.2 of a second quicker than both drivers ahead of him that time around, and it looks like if he can just keep this pace going, it is a certainty he will compete. Coming around to the stripe yet again, we're going to make it a total of 3 laps remaining on FTN. The Chance 3 Design Shop at the Glen has hit the 3-lap to go point, and your leader now has 2 drivers right within a second of him. It's going to come down to this. Of course, every turn matters now. Morton not able to get the run that time through. He's going to have to stick it once again to the back of the bumper. Not going to be able to make a pass. Morton still in second. Bressie going to still lead. Rob Ackley is going to fade back a bit more that time around, as it looks like he might have worn out all his stuff on an incredible charge. Maybe that's all she wrote for the number 22. Very close. Maybe just not enough, but these 2 ahead of him are very close to one another, and it might come down to their input as the race gets closer to the finish. 3 laps to go this time by. Morton still getting there. The onboard camera from Thomas Bressie's virtual headset still on the right side of the frame. It's all access here on FTN as the battle for lead stays fierce. 38 laps in, it is still going to be held by Thomas Bressie as your leading man. Justin Morton's there in second, and Rob Ackley's in third. As they come around this time by, it's going to be 2 laps to go. Time is running out indeed, and now it will only be 2 more turns around Watkins Glen. As they battle to get by Alan Dobbs there, Bressie's going to drop down to the bottom side, very close to some contact. Luckily, going to be able to make it out in one piece. Justin Morton makes it there too. Dobbs going to get back in the racing line and separate Rob Ackley from the top 2 drivers. That is huge. It might be the end of the going for Ackley if he can't get by that 0.5. He is still right there, and Ackley now going to find himself on the high side, escaping the clutches of the lap machine. Morton going to send it deep into the bus stop yet again. Tries to go a bit harder time after time, and it looks like now he is still just within arm's reach, but not enough to make the pass. The 24 still finds himself out in front now, and it looks like it's going to be all about the next lap, the final lap, if there's anyone that can catch Thomas Bressie. Now, making it through the final 2 turns, it's going to be 1 more left-hander, 1 more right-hander. 1 lap to go. This time around, the white flag will fly in Watkins Glen, and just like that, it all comes down to this. Taking them through final lap here in the Glen. And making it around, it's going to be Bressie still with that advantage. The 24 machine sees Cal Filarski spins. We stay green. Morton's going to stay on the back bumper here. Watch on the hood camera as he tries to put the power down to make the finishing move. He stays right there. The Chevy Camaro just going to be ahead, trying to put down the power. Morton gets loose. That might be it. Justin Morton's in the grass, and now it's going to take a huge send to make up any time. Bressie now finds himself with that advantage. The gap is bigger, but Justin sends it deep. Morton's back in the picture. Now the 24 slips and slides, going through the carousel one more time. It's going to be a quick dash to the finish from here on out. 2 more turns. They go very wide, almost almost hit the grass, and Morton is all over the place. It looks like the placement is not there for the number 9 machine, but for Thomas Bressi, placing himself on the track correctly, on pit road correctly, everything will work out. Coming through the final corner and the Go Bowling Bridge, the checkered flag will fall after 40 hard-fought laps to Thomas Bressi. First win of the season, gets it done at the Glen. And Thomas Bressi comes home on top. What a win for him. What a battle. Justin Morton, Rob Ackley keeping themselves in it till the very end. It was all around a great battle for all 3 drivers as Thomas Bressi now takes it around the track as he celebrates a victory well deserved. And the best road course racers yet again stay at the front of the order all night long. That's a prime example. Once more, we're going to be Bressi up at the top, and he comes home here with his first win of the season. If you enjoyed the action on FTN tonight, be sure to leave a like on the stream and subscribe. Big way to support these drivers as they put on another fantastic performance in the Glen. Thomas Bressi comes home on top by 0.6 of a second over Rob Ackley in 3rd, Matthew Thunhorst in 1st, and Anthony DeBarro in 5th. As Chad Mikas finishes 6th, it's DJ Stagner 7th, and Blake Gordon 8th, with Alec Daffin then in 9th. Going to be Timothy Johnston, position number 10, as Tyler Hensley comes home 11th, and Nick Tarbuck's going to be 12th with Don Stevenson then 13th. Defending winner Travis McQuiston comes home 14th with Gael Brooks 15th, and it's Cody Smith 16th, Forrest Smith 17th, Brian McFerrin 18th, and Chris Cabot 19th with Alan Dobbs position number 20. Then your retirees from there, Casey Shue 21st, Kyle Cooper 22nd, Trevor Trago 23rd, Shane Ewing 24th, Cal Filarski 25th, Brandon Bernhardt 26th, and Boomer Logan 27th, with Michael Stroll, Nicholas Cohan, and Cody Griffin rounding out this 30-car field. The 24 begins the celebration. And just like that, his burnout has concluded. The celebration is on for the number 24 of Thomas Bressi. First win of the season, and it comes at the Glen. We'll be right back after a brief message courtesy of iRacing Motorsport Simulations as we round up our top 3 drivers and get them ready for an interview. We'll return momentarily. Stick around as your podium interviews will come right after this on FTN.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Watkins Glen gives us yet another exciting road course race in the Ignite Series, and tonight, a familiar face as a road course winner comes out on top yet again. Thomas Bressi, the number 24 Exalta machine, was on fire tonight. You come home with your first win of the 2023 B season, and yet again prove you're one of the top drivers in the road courses here in these Xfinity cars. How about that victory in upstate New York?
Yeah, I guess we were about on fire as the motor was, because I guess, I don't know, we might need to have a class this week on how to use the mirrors for some people. That made it a lot harder than it had to be, because the tires, like, you had to really, really take care of the tires, and I did a good job the first run. It was still hard to pass, and that's, at least I had enough that when, Matt and Justin kind of slipped up a little bit, I could kind of just take advantage of it. But then that second run, the front end was killed, so I just blew the fronts off, and then trying to compensate for that by driving, with the right foot a little bit more, it burnt the rears off, and we were just dog water at the end, just in the way. But that I felt good after I got the lead. I was like, okay, maybe we can kind of check out here a little bit, and then the damage just kind of, put a full stop to that. But had to drive my butt off though to hang in there, but glad it worked out. Yeah, just one of them road course races, I guess. I don't know. Decent night, I guess, overall. Happy for Justin. Hate it for Casey, because he got dumped per usual by people that can't keep their cool on lap 9, I guess, but that's how it goes, I guess. And then just happy to have Tyler back. It's been, God, it feels like 6 months since he's run with us. So, glad to have him back in the saddle and having fun with us. So decent night overall. Can't be too upset. Happy to get a win, obviously. Advancing the bracket, which is cool, obviously. So, yeah, not too terrible, I guess, all things considered.
And able to hold on for that win with a very, very big load of competition behind you. It seemed like, of course, Justin Morton right there with you. Rob Ackley able to crawl up into the picture. So how was defending in that situation? Tires beginning the burnout as we saw some damage. Must have been a lot of factors run through your mind.
Yeah. It was easier, I think, at the beginning, getting to just kind of chill and see what the other guys were doing. I mean, Justin and Matt are always just alien good at the road courses anyways. So I was honestly a little worried about this one. I mean, it's the Glen, and usually everybody kind of does fine here, but the last couple times we've done races here, the tire wear has been a big factor, and I've done a pretty piss poor job of kind of managing that the last few times. So I felt good about myself partway through the first run, and then once I got the lead, like I said, I thought maybe I could pull away in the second stint with the clean air, and it just didn't happen. On top of the fact that I don't know what it was with the setup. I don't know if it was the tape or something, but the cars were running really hot. I mean, like our teammates and stuff, Cody was back in the pack talking about it. Like, he was flashing partway through the race, and it was fine up at the front up until I got the damage, and then it started flashing and everything. Like, the whole last run, it was pretty bad. So I was trying to manage that, not blow up, first of all. And then Justin was breathing down my neck. And then we had a couple weird kerfuffles, if you want to call it that, with lap cars, and lost a ton of time to Rob, and he was closing in, and then and then it was hard because once I made a couple mistakes, and then I just could not get back in a rhythm for a couple laps, and it kept bleeding time for me and Justin. It was really letting Rob and Matt close in, so I was just trying to refocus in the last couple laps and just not screw up, and I was just able to do that. But it was it was a stressful last 10-15 laps. Really, I just felt eternal, I guess, but again, just happy it worked out.
And able to hang on, all things considered, puts you up in the bracket, keeps you up in the points. And Twin Ring Motegi up next. We're going international yet again. How do you feel heading to our first international trip of course, this 2023 B season?
Yeah, that's Motegi's a fun one in this car, and I say fun, I guess, a little sarcastically. It's very it's interesting. I mean, I think anybody that's run Motegi in any car knows that place is it's weird, just the way, like, it's 1 and 2 is bigger than 3 and 4, so it's like a little bit like Darlington, and then it's really flat, so you kind of feel like you're just dirt tracking through some of the corners like New Hampshire, and it's a very and then, I mean, turns 1 and 2 go on forever, so it's kind of feels like you're really trying to play the momentum game. It's a weird track to try and wrap your head around. I've done fine there before. I probably should do a little practice this week, honestly. It'll be interesting though, for sure, because I mean, obviously we haven't run it here, but in the past it definitely is an interesting race in these cars, so we'll see. At least we got a dub on the board, and we'll see if we can't keep it rolling best we can.
First win of the season, of course, putting you back in the W column. Yet another great road course performance. Thomas Bressi, any final thoughts to wrap off the interview here?
Yeah, just as always, shout out to the JT Motorsports guys. Justin and Matt isn't officially on the team, but Matt kind of runs with us. Again, happy to have Tyler back, Casey and Cody as well. Just hats off to them as always. Just all the series staff for doing what they do to put this on. You guys for doing the broadcast and getting our show out there to everybody, and just hopefully everybody watching enjoyed the show.
And there we have it. The number 24 machine in the hard-fought battle comes home on top. Thomas Bressi, first win of the season in the Chance 3 Design Shop at the Glen. Thank you for your time.
Take care, bud.
Bressi on the way. The number 24 is back with the winning ways. And Justin Morton, another very, very solid performance here. A podium finish yet again at a road course. At the moment, however, it appears that Morton is not in a voice chat. We'll get him in right now. Justin Morton, your second place finisher, comes home inside the podium. I'm going to ask him for an interview right now. If not, we'll move on to our third place man in Rob Ackley. Number 9 machine, his second podium here at a road course that happened to be a second place finish. And yet again, showing he has that speed to win a race, just has not been able to get that breakthrough. Certainly one of the guys to keep an eye out for. Currently looks like he's off the line, so if anything, we'll move on to our next driver and go from there. Justin Morton comes home in the second position tonight, and our third place man, Rob Ackley, is right now just moments away from being dragged in. After a Daytona he did not want, Rob Ackley able to put it back together for a very solid podium finish, creeping back up on the leaders very late. Looks like strategy worked out very well for you to stay in the top 3 picture all night long. How was it working through for you?
Oh, the first half of the race had some pretty tight battles. After that pit stop right at halfway, I kind of came out with like a 3-second gap on each side of me. Just tried to run some smooth laps and hoping to keep the tires on it, and worked out pretty good. I actually started running the leaders down near the end there.
And it looks like whatever happened there on that second stint, you were able to turn it on. Had a lot of speed in practice. Very good run in qualifying too, so certainly wasn't any fluke at all. But it looked like you were able to turn it on there, saving the tire, keeping it at the right level of performance all throughout. What got you there in specific to be able to compete at such a quick speed to catch up several seconds on the top guys?
Like I said, I was just trying to not slip the tires, especially coming off the corner, and I've been working at getting better on these road courses, and Watkins Glen is my home track, being from New York, so kind of put some time in, wanted to have a good run tonight, and I guess we pulled it off.
And able to pull it off very well for the 22 camp here in Road Course Racing International. Up next, we got the Twin Ring Motegi up next on the schedule. What's it going to be like for your team to take it from here and go all the way over to the other side of the pond for your third race of this season?
Oh, just hoping to have a repeat performance of tonight and not what we did at Daytona. I'm not really sure how I feel about that track. I think I've only done one race on it in the past, maybe, so I don't know. We'll see.
And looking to keep up this momentum, this is the better way to start the season. Rob Ackley, third place finish tonight here in Watkins Glen. Any final thoughts to wrap off this interview? Anyone you'd like to thank?
Oh, I just give a shout out to all the guys at Domination Intimidation Racing, and we'll see everybody next week.
And absolutely hoping to continue competing next week. Rob Ackley, the number 22, comes home on the podium here in the Chance 3 Design Shop at the Glen. Thank you for your time.
Yep, thank you.
And just like that, the number 22 machine rounds out our podium interviews. Looks like Justin Morton not going to be with us tonight, but a great finish for him. Rob Ackley comes home third, Justin Morton finishes second, and Thomas Bressi comes home on top of the Chance 3 Design Shop at the Glen. Great racing all throughout, and another great road course battle till the very end. Stick around on FTN. This stream will automatically redirect to the Schumacher Racing League. They are still racing right now on Fireball Talks NASCAR. So we'll be heading on to that stream very, very soon. Stick around on this page. It should automatically redirect you to the next broadcast. Live on FTN, a multiple broadcast today, this was your presentation of the Integrity Ignite Series. Another great performance for all these drivers. And before I head to the real Watkins Glen in a few days, great to have this experience looking at the virtual field take on the track in Schuyler County, New York. As always, I've been your host for tonight's broadcast, David Kreutz. Great to have you all viewing tonight's presentation on FTN. If you enjoyed tonight's broadcast, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And in addition, for all FTN information, be sure to check out the links in the description to learn more about each and every league that we cover on this channel. From our studios to your homes, we hope you enjoyed tonight's race on FTN, and we hope to see you as a viewer yet again on FTN. We thank you all for your support. If you enjoyed yet again, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and we hope you have a great night.